All right, we get it rolling on the Krueg Show. Hope everybody's having a great January 12th. And hope everybody's enjoying a phenomenal Thursday. 49ers getting ready to take on the Seahawks in 2 days. I was down in Santa Clara earlier today. Before we go any further, though, I want to say a big thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics for being the sponsor of the show today. If you're an occupational therapist, an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice. They can greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much, much more. And for more information, because I know you want more information, go to their website, telmetrics.co. That's TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Telmetrics and Casey Bateman for being a sponsor of the Krueg Show. All right, back by popular demand. Vish Kumaran, man, it's been a long time since I talked to Vish. Oh yeah, it was yesterday on his channel. What's up, Vish? How are you, man?
I'm very tired, but I'm doing well. How are you, Larry? We had a pretty amazing conversation, I thought, yesterday on my channel. It was one of the best conversations, honestly, I've ever had on any sort of medium doing it. And I just wanted to share something special about it. You and I did not plan a single topic going into the show. In fact, I'd been just so busy with work this week that I didn't even plan a single topic. And I remember, and you came on and we saw each other about a minute before the show. And I told you, I'm just going to wing it and let's see how it goes. And you and I ended up talking for 2 hours. That's pretty cool. And so I thought that was really fun. And I'm glad to run it back here today. And happy birthday to you. I do remember you mentioned that yesterday. The chat is letting me know. So
there you go. Appreciate that. Look at Val Ramos. Happy birthday. I'm getting it from Tony D. Happy birthday. I appreciate all of the birthday wishes for sure. And yeah, no, I'm excited to talk Niners with you. We only have a limited time, so let's really crank it out. I've got birthday dinner waiting. I've asked for I'm a big fan of turkey. I like turkey, and then I like a berry pie, like kind of a dark berry pie, like either blackberry or blueberry or some kind of maybe ollie berry, something that's kind of like a raspberry, something a little on the darker side.
Some kind
of a berry pie of some kind.
Okay.
There you go. But let's get right
into
the
Thanksgiving
Niners.
dinner once again on your birthday in January.
I do. I love Thanksgiving dinner. Occasionally I will, I'll just bust out Thanksgiving in the middle of the year. It could be July. I'll bust out Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Give me your number one concern, if you even have one, Vish, about Saturday and the Seahawks and the 49ers moving on. The 49ers will not move on Saturday if.
So my number one concern has a giant contingency, but the 49ers will not move on Sunday if the Seahawks offensive line is able to dominate the line of scrimmage. I don't really have a lot of faith in the Seahawks defense and their opportunities stopping this run game and stopping this offense. I just don't like the matchup. To me, Seattle's real advantage is the two guys on the outside, Metcalf and Lockett. I think they're, a top 5 receiver duo in the NFL. They're both top 15, 20, maybe 10-ish receivers in the NFL. They're both really good. And I think that's really where you can take advantage of the Niners defense still. Mooney Ward's fantastic. Deommodore Lenoir has had a good season, but, you would bet on Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf beating Deommodore Lenoir on the outside. And that's really where to go against this defense. And the thing about Geno Smith this year is his season to me has reminded me a lot of Ryan Tannehill in ways in 2019, where you have this big, athletic quarterback who's willing to stand in the pocket and is willing to throw the ball down the field. And he throws the ball down the field very well and very accurately. It's just about giving him time and opportunities to utilize these weapons. And what's really happened in the first 2 games that the Niners really have dominated Seattle is that Geno Smith has not had a lot of time, and the Seahawks have tried to run a lot of shorter concepts to mitigate this pass rush, and that's played right into the Niners defense hands. Geno's had to check the ball down a lot, and it's not really worked out. to me, if Seattle is able to get a little bit semblance of protection and have some confidence to try and take some shots down the field, Geno is a very accurate down the field thrower. And so if you ask me for how the 49ers would lose, that would be the situation. Do I expect it to happen? No, but that's the situation that I think they would lose in.
I'll say this. I think the 49ers will lose to Seattle if at the end of the game they are minus
more points.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the game, if the 49ers are -3 in turnovers,
Okay,
they will lose the game. -3. That's where I'm at.
-3.
I always love to look at the statistical profiles when you get late in the year, because the statistical profiles mean more and more the further you go in the season, I believe. So let's take a look at the statistical profile. I think it's interesting. For the 49ers, I throw out everything where the team's not in the top third of the league. So I'm looking for the extremes. You're either in the top part of the league or the bottom part of the league, and how these teams match up. So the 49ers have a top 10 rushing offense. They're 8th in the league. They're averaging 138.8 per game on the ground. And they're actually probably a little better than that, because now in this game, they're going to have McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell and putting their best foot forward, running
and
the ball.
Debo.
And Debo and Ray and Danny Gray if they want them. And they got the full contingent of runners. And JP Mason, and Ty Davis Price. I mean, they got guys. So they have a top 10 rushing offense. Then I go to Seahawks on defense, and they are 30th against the run. They give up 150 yards per game on the ground. And, then I'm looking at time of possession, and the 49ers are 3rd in the league. They possess the ball for on average of almost 32 minutes a game. The Seahawks are 30th in the NFL. They don't possess the ball. So, I mean, that's one that really stands out to me. And then I'll go to turnover differential. The 49ers are first. 49ers are +13, number 1 turnover differential team in football. Seahawks are not bad. They're +2, but that's 12th in the league. So I just see a game where, if you look at the turnovers, the Niners are +13. And so that has helped them. That's fueled a lot of their success this year to some degree down the stretch. And at one game, anything can happen. If there was an aberration in this game, a team that was leading the NFL in turnover margin didn't just lose the turnover margin, but was -3 in turnovers, then and only then could I see Seattle beating the 49ers. Otherwise, I like the Niners. I think the Niners are going to run for 200 yards and put Seattle away.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I have to say, Larry, most teams that are -3 in the turnover differential usually don't end up winning the football game. You're not really going out on a limb by saying if they're -3. I think the biggest. I think they would still. I think the
Niners would still win -2.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I think the most profound thing about that statement is that you believe this game is like the Niners are so overwhelmingly better than Seattle that you think they could be 2 down in the turnover differential and still win.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think the 49ers are going to be able to do a lot of things in this game. Turnovers are the equalizer. Now, people would say, well, you know what? The big disadvantage for the 49ers is that Brock Purdy is a coin flip. You don't know. He's playing his first NFL playoff game.
Well, not to Larry Kruger. That's not a coin flip.
Well, I mean, I like Brock Purdy. I think he's going to play well. But guess who also is making his first NFL playoff game start? Geno Smith. So neither of these guys has started a single playoff game. So before you say, the Niners can't do it, they got a guy with no experience, they got the better team. And the other team's quarterback has 0 experience as well.
And the more experienced team. Seattle's team doesn't really have a lot of playoff experience. Besides Tyler Lockett and a couple other guys like the KJ Wright, the Bobby Wagners, those guys are gone. Meanwhile, the Niners have a bunch of players who've been through 2 deep runs now.
Yeah, the Niners have more experience, and the Niners have a better team. And obviously that's why they're 13-4 and the Seahawks are 9-8. I also think the Seahawks have leaned on some rookies, and those, an NFL season, this is, you've played 20 games by now. That's 5 more games than you're playing in college if you're playing the full boatload in college. So, they think about it. Both their starting corners, both their starting tackles, and their starting running back for rookies have a lot of mileage on them this year. And how fresh are they going up against a really deep 49er defensive line? What kind of defensive game plan would you want to exercise here if you're D'Amico? What are you trying to do in this game? What do you think, if D'Amico, if we could verbalize a game plan defensively for D'Amico in the Niners, Vish, what is it?
First things first, stop the run. You got to be good against the run. You got to be clean against the run. Seattle's run game is like pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like the most creative run game, but they execute their run game well. And they have what I think is a special running back. I don't know if a lot of people agree with me. I know you do. I like Kenneth Walker a lot. I know you like him a lot. So I think you have to be able to stop the run against Seattle. I think that's their bread and butter. They want to control the game with their run game. Last week, I thought the Rams did a good job. I was watching that game against the run. And Seattle and Kenneth Walker was tough sledding. I think he only averaged like 3.5 yards per carry, but he was able to grind that football game out for them. And he was able to, they control the pace of the game and control and protect their defense through the run game. And Pete Carroll's able to manage possessions and manage the timing of the game, manage everything through Seattle's run game. So first and foremost, no matter what, you have to stop the run, which the Niners have done extremely well. And then the second part is you got to get to Geno Smith. It's that simple. You get pressure on Geno Smith, you rush him, you move him off his spot, you make him step up in the pocket. He hangs in there tough and he looks to throw the ball down the field, but it'll disrupt the timing and flow of everything. And once you do that, the Niners are the best team in the NFL at rallying and tackling, rallying to the ball together too as a unit, and then tackling, and they tackle very well. And so that, to me, it's going to be pretty much that kind of football game. Like, I can describe it as that should be the game plan, or this is what should happen, or what should happen. They know what should happen. They've played Seattle so many times. And I'd imagine that the game is in a lot of ways going to look like that. Seattle's going to struggle to run the ball. Geno is going to be under pressure constantly, and he's going to be checking the ball down a lot because of that. And the Niners defense is going to be consistently rallying and flying around and hitting.
Okay, so there's one area of the Seahawks statistical profile that bothers me. And that is, you think of the 49ers and how they're built. If I said to you, where's the deepest group of talent on the 49ers? Most people who look at it would say it's the defensive line. And then you look at who's the defensive player of the year in the league this year, it's Nick Bosa. So I would say the 49ers pass rush needs to really be respected. But guess what? The Seahawks are the team that have more sacks than the 49ers. The Seahawks have 45 as a team, 7th most in the league. The Niners have one less, which puts them down at 10th. And when you look at the statistics of the Seattle profile as far as who's getting their sacks, they've got like 9 different guys, maybe 12 different guys who have gotten at least one sack. But the guys that really stand out are Uchenna Nwosu, the right outside backer. He's gotten a bunch. Quentin Jefferson inside has gotten a bunch. And Darrell Taylor. Darrell Taylor's not a starter. He wears number 52, the former Tennessee
second round
pick, and a crazy athlete with unbelievable get off. Do you think the 49ers are going to let McGlinchey and Big Trent Williams operate alone, or do you think they're going to give those guys extra help? Because that, to me, if there's any concern in this game, it's that Seattle sacks Brock Purdy, a few more times than you want, maybe gets a big defensive play, a turnover, or defensive score because of it. I think pass protection against Seattle is absolutely crucial.
Yeah. I think when you ask the question, are they going to leave, McGlinchey and Trent Williams one-on-one? I think that the reality of the situation is there's going to be third downs where they're going to have to pass protect one-on-one. And that's why, you pay so much for Trent Williams. He's the best tackle in the game. Mike McGlinchey was a top 10 pick in the draft. You expect them at home to be able to hold up in those type of situations. Now, I just feel like this isn't going to be a game that Seattle's pass rush can really do much and dictate things, because I think the 49ers are going to play with the lead throughout the game. I think a majority of the game they're going to have the lead, which means they're going to be balanced the entire time. I think they're going to control the game with their run game. And once they do that, to me, it all just follows suit and everything just works from there. And if they're able to run the ball, they're able to use play action. Shanahan will use deception to slow down this pass rush. I'm not that worried. The only situation that would have me worried is if by some situation, unanticipated, something happens and, Seattle is able to get out to a big lead and the 49ers have to play from behind and now they just have to drop Brock Purdy back like that. Otherwise, that's not the game I'm expecting. I expect the Niners to have the lead and get the lead early. I expect them to be very balanced and I expect them to really play through their run game. So I don't really look at Seattle's pass rush. Not that they aren't a threat. I just don't think that this is the right matchup for them to be able to dominate and win the game for the Seahawks.
49er Faithful makes the first donation of the show. $1.99 says, do the same offense from the 2020 NFC Championship game. Do you remember the offense in the 2020 NFC Championship game?
That's the Green Bay versus Tampa Bay game, right?
Not sure. Not sure what he's referencing.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, no. 2020 NFC Championship game. The NFC Championship game that happened in 2020 is Green Bay versus the 49ers. Right? Because that was the 2019 football season. But the NFC Championship game happened.
That was a run-heavy game plan, in other words.
Right. He's basically
I think it's going to be a run-heavy
throw the ball
game
8 times.
Yeah. They're going to throw it more than 8 times. They got a lot of weapons. I think they trust Brock. I think Brock's going to operate well in these conditions. He played at Iowa State, played in the Big 12. There's some harsh weather, a lot more harsh than he's going to get.
Hey. The Midwest weather it builds character.
Yeah.
It builds character.
Man, could you imagine? It's painful to play football in the Midwest in the winter.
But I imagine I lived through it. It's painful to live here sometimes in the winter, let alone play football.
The 49ers have a terrific rushing attack. They're 8th in the league, but really they're better than that because they picked up McCaffrey later in the year. He leads them in rushing yards, 746 for Christian, which is second place was Jeff Wilson, the Dolphin, who's now at 468. So big year for McCaffrey on the ground. The offense has totally taken off since he's arrived. What do you think Shanahan does as far as splits running back wise? I mean, I got to think it's going to be almost all McCaffrey, mostly McCaffrey. But, I mean, as far as McCaffrey and Mitchell, do you think anybody besides McCaffrey or Mitchell gets a carry? And how do you see the McCaffrey-Mitchell split?
Yeah, so I do think Jordan Mason gets carries late in the fourth quarter when the Niners have this game kind of wrapped up 31-10, something like that. 8-9 minutes left. Jordan Mason's running this game out. That was half tongue in cheek, just to say that I think they're gonna blow them out. And it's always nice to say that about Seattle, but I really also do think that they're gonna beat them pretty handedly. In terms of McCaffrey Mitchell, I do think it's gonna be 80-20 McCaffrey to Mitchell. And the only way I think Mitchell's load increases is if it's like the Chargers game where Mitchell is clearly the better back out of the two running. Otherwise, I expect them to ride McCaffrey because that's what they've done. Not 80-20. I think it'll be 70-30. But then if Mitchell is, running the foot, if Mitchell is very effective in the little he gets the football, that could turn into 50-50, maybe 60-40, trending towards Mitchell. But I imagine the plan coming into the game is 70-30.
The 3 times, beating a team 3 times, is that something? Do you believe in that? Do you think is that a unique challenge? Are you fearful of that, or is that nothing? And no, I'll take the better team, the 49ers, every time. And last year against the Rams, they played them for a third time. And at one point in the fourth quarter, I thought, you know what? Niners have a 10-point lead. They're going to beat the Rams for a third time. And then they wound up losing 20-17, and the Rams went to the Super Bowl and the Niners went home.
So
Is
I
the
don't believe
three
in it.
times thing a
I don't
deal?
believe in it. I don't believe in it. There's
Okay.
22 instances where a team has beaten the opponent 2 times in the regular season and played against in the playoffs. Teams went 3-0 14 out of 22 times. So that's 63% of the time. We're kind of just there's a little bit of scar tissue here because of the Rams last year and then because Tampa Bay did it to New Orleans the year before. So now we have this kind of recent memory bias in our head that this 3 times is very, very hard. But you also have to remember, Tampa Bay and New Orleans were considered to be the 2 best teams in the NFC that year, along with Green Bay. Like they were all 3 legitimately considered to be very, very good football teams. And last year, even though the Niners were 2-0 against the Rams are a terrific football team. That's not the case here. Seattle was lucky to get into the playoffs. They're not that good. There's a lopsided difference between the talent level on the Niners and Seattle. And it's not really the case with the Niners and the Rams. You had 2 pretty good football teams, but the Niners just matched up with them better.
Very interesting when I'm looking at the fact that Seattle has had a lot of success against Kyle Shanahan. The Niners under Shanahan have played Seattle 12 times. Seattle's won 8 of those games. Shanahan's 4-8 against Seattle. But then when I look closer at this matchup and what actually the first 2 games showed us, to me, the Niners defense is just better across the board than Seattle offensively. Seattle had 1 touchdown drive on 20 offensive possessions against the 49er defense in the first 2 matchups. 1 in 20 possessions. That's domination, man. I expect more of the same.
Yeah. Wow, that's an incredible stat. That is an incredible stat.
That's futility.
Yeah,
that means
I expect
Niners
it to
are
be,
better.
I expect it to be similar as well. That is wow. So all you need to know on really how lopsided this matchup is.
And by the way, if you're asking about what are the exact numbers on the third time deal, the Niners will be the 25th team in the Super Bowl era, dating back to the late 60s, to sweep 2 games against an opponent in the regular season and then play them again in the playoffs.
25th.
25th. Yep. Those
Oh.
previous teams went 14-10 in the third meeting in the playoff, including the loss by San Francisco to the Rams last season on the road. But
all right, I'm gonna have to throw my guy under the bus. By that, I read that stat straight off a text message sent to me by my buddy Rob Guerrera of Niners Nation, who we call Stats. Rob's the man. He's great at what he does. By the way, shout out to him. We do a Monday show together on Niners Nation YouTube channel. But Stats, you can't be hitting me with the wrong stats, man. That's messed up.
No, but the teams that have hosted the third game after playing 2 times in the regular season have had a 13-6 overall record. So, the team that hosts that third game has a decided advantage, and obviously that's the 49ers. Brock Purdy, is there going to be a wrinkle, Vish? I mean, you and I love to talk about X's and O's and different angles on things. Is there a wrinkle that you can think of that teams are going to throw at Brock Purdy now that it's the playoff-like intensity and you're really studying your opponent and you're really going into what he likes to do? What will teams try to do to Brock Purdy to take him out of rhythm? Because to me, the Brock Purdy, and the one thing that I'm familiar with is this Brock Purdy is in rhythm. And in college, when he was in great rhythm, he looked like this, but he wasn't always in great rhythm. So what will teams do in the playoffs to try to take Brock out of rhythm?
Yeah, I think you got to stop him the same way you want to stop any great quarterback, right? You want to put them in obvious, oh God, any quarterback, not great quarterback. Excuse me, Freudian slip. Brock Purdy is playing great. He is not yet a great quarterback. But let me continue. And that is in the sense that like you can say like, oh, if you do something exotic, it's gonna get to him, blah blah blah. But this offense just has so many answers, and the weapons are just so good. It's just there's only a couple ways that you can really defend them, and they force you to communicate because Shanahan is just so good that you don't want to be too complex because then it's going to lead to you making mistakes, busted coverages, which the Niners will take advantage of. In terms of Purdy, I think the way to disrupt him and that's how we'll also find out how good he really is if you can make the quarterback play from behind, which means put them in an obvious drop back pass situation, and you can make them play under pressure and make tight window throws with people around them, then you will know. And you'll be able to see one if the guy's a really good quarterback, but then two, that'll be the one way we will see. That's probably the best way to stop any quarter. It's the best way to stop any quarterback, and we'll get to see, if any quarterback in that situation, how good they are. For example, Jaquaski Tart did drop the interception, but last year in the NFC Championship game, we got to see that down 10 in the fourth quarter. Matthew Stafford, they dropped him back. They put him in, they put him in the shotgun and they just dropped him back every play. And we saw there were people around him. The pocket wasn't always clean, but he was able to make space in the pocket and he was able to make big time throws down the football field. And to me, that's the true test of what makes, a good quarterback. To me, in those type of situations, you get to really see what separates, the franchise quarterbacks and the guys with good stats and all of that, because that really is what quarterback play comes down to. You get to see how a guy processes and how athletic he is, how well he throws in that type of a situation. And so I say all of that to say that if you do that to Brock Purdy, like any other quarterback, he will struggle, and that'll be the situation that we'll get to really see too, how what he's truly made of and really what his ceiling and how special he is or how good he is or how bad he is. And we'll get to see all of that.
One of the areas that I'm a little concerned about is I really have a lot of respect for Tyler Lockett as one of the NFL's better route runners, right? I mean, he led Seattle in touchdown receptions this year. He had 9. He went for 12.3 per reception. That's a really good average. He was second to DK in receiving yards, but Metcalf's a big, strong guy. But Lockett also lines up in the slot. And I think like over 40% of his routes this year have come from the slot. Now that number may not be as high over the weekend because there's an injury to Marquise Goodwin and they've moved Lockett outside, and Cade Johnson, who also is kind of slippery, has been lining up in the slot. But what do you think, Vish? I mean, you got Jimmy Ward and you got Diamador Lenore, and those guys are going to be in charge of slowing down, Lockett. And I like what I'm seeing from Ward in the slot corner role. And Lenore has continued to be targeted almost repeatedly week after week. I expect Charvarius to handle Metcalf again as he did in the first couple meetings. So it really comes down to how well, whether it's outside or in the slot, the Niners are going to have to defend Lockett in key third down situations. And he's a chain mover. What's the key? Do you think Lenore can stand up? It's a major question. Lockett is such a great route runner that he can turn you into a pretzel and make all kinds of big third down catches, and he'll have to make several for them to win this game.
Absolutely. I agree. And in the 2 games this year, right, he's really been the guy, right? He has not DK Metcalf. He has 16 catches in the 2 games. I think 16 catches, 175 yards in the 2 games this year versus the 49ers. Pretty good stats. But the thing to me about Lockett that's most scary is he doesn't have the same speed he once had when he came out of Kansas State. He's a little bit older, but he can still get behind you. And I actually think the Niners defense has done a pretty good job on him in both of these games. He's had good stats, but they haven't really he hasn't really made any plays that are game changing. It's been a lot of dink and dunk. And the one thing I know about the Niners defense is that they kind of their style, right, is to be very, very the style of this scheme is to be very, very sound, not get beat over the top and make you earn every yard. And if you want to go up the field, you got to have a 15, 16 play drive. The thing about it is that it's really nearly impossible to have a 15, 16 play long drive where you execute that many times against the Niners defense. They're just too talented. The scheme is just too good. Nick Bosa is just too good. There's too many plays that they screw up for you to be able to do that. And therefore, I'm just not worried that much, even though Tyler Lockett has played well in both of these games, that, him catching a few balls underneath, I don't think it's really going to make a massive difference. The Niners defense does a very good job being physical with him. And I think that's pretty, it doesn't really affect him. He's a pretty tough guy for a smaller guy, but I think it does enough to not let him really take over the game.
What is the matchup outside of 49ers Seahawks that you're most eager to see this weekend?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Jacksonville versus the Chargers.
That should be good. The young Jags are with Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Playing well.
I like the
they
Jags
got a fast defense.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I love Justin Herbert.
I like the Chargers in that game.
You like the Chargers?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think Jaguars. I mean, the Chargers are really a team with a lot of premium talent, and I just think that they're getting, they're ready to roll at the right time. I mean, early in this year, like when the Niners played them, they didn't have Rashawn Slater. They weren't the same team.
They didn't have Joey Bosa
right now. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have Joey Bosa. Yeah, I mean, Joey Bosa is a super. I mean, the Chargers have some superstar players. Keenan Allen. I mean, not to mention, Derwin James and
Mike Williams is a stud.
Khalil Mack and Asante Samuel and Joey Bosa, and they got some good players. I think they're a better team than people think, and I think they're going to get the win here.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. And it's not I'm not that high on the Chargers. I don't like them very much. I like their quarterback a lot, but that's about it. The reason I agree with you has a lot more to do with the fact that I just think that the Jaguars are kind of 1 year away. I think they're so young that it just might be too much too fast for them to go win a playoff game at home after winning the NFC South and doing what they did the second half of this season. They might have, reached their ceiling for this season. I think they're an ascending team. There's so many things to like about them. Tyson Campbell is a pretty top-notch corner. Trayvon Walker is coming along. Josh Allen is a very good player on the edge. They have some nice players at linebacker. I'm blanking on his name. The guy that came from Atlanta that leads the league in tackles. What's his name?
For the Jags?
Yeah.
Deion Jones?
No. The guy that came from Atlanta, Jaguars linebacker. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
I'll get it. The guy from Yale.
Yes.
Foysaid Aluakon.
Yes. He's an absolute stud.
He's 6'3", 230 and just tackles everything.
Absolute stud. So I like a lot of things about their football team is what I'm coming around to say, despite the fact that I had this horrible moment forgetting the poor guy's name. But
I mean, it's not an easy one.
No, but I got to remember that one, Larry. I got to remember.
I think I may have butchered it there, but it's like Foysaid Aluakun, something like that.
Good player though, But
really good,
I agree with you. That's the matchup I'm most excited to see. I just think Jacksonville is 1 year away.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I don't know. I'm also, I'll tell you the other one. I'm really eager to see Baltimore, Cincinnati. Because isn't Lamar going to come back?
No. I don't think he's playing. I think
So
he's
those
ruled
are
out. I think he
that's
was
a
ruled out
backup
today.
quarterback. That's Huntley. Oh, then I
It's
think
Huntley, but
Cincinnati.
I don't know if Huntley has been cleared to play either.
I like Cincinnati then. Because if Lamar's coming back, I mean, the Ravens with no pressure at all, with Lamar coming back, I think that's an interesting game.
I think we got robbed. I think the AFC playoffs with a healthy Lamar would have been something special. Because to me, with a healthy Lamar, Baltimore would be my third favorite team in the AFC. Right now, I think it's Kansas City 1, Cincinnati 2, Buffalo 3. But with a healthy Lamar, I would put Baltimore 3, Buffalo 4.
How about Dallas Tampa? You got a thought on Dallas Tampa? Tom Brady
Tampa's going to
against
beat them.
Dak
We've seen
Prescott.
this story before. We saw it with the Beastquake Seahawks. They barely got in the playoffs. Horrible division. They beat the 11-5 New Orleans Saints at home. We saw it with the 2014 Carolina Panther team that barely made it to the playoffs. I think they beat Arizona, I want to say, at home. Now, I don't think Carson Palmer played in that game, but they still beat them at home. And now we're going to see it again. Yeah, the NFC South was horrible this year. Barely made it to the playoffs. Brady's going to get it done. Dallas is a fragile team. Yeah,
You like Tampa?
I like Tampa.
You like the 8-9 Buccaneers to get it done.
I like Brady.
Well, I do too. Dallas has not won a postseason game on the road since 1992. Where were you? Vish, where were you in 1992?
I was 7 years away from being conceived.
1992, last time Cowboys won a playoff game on the road. And by the way, Tom Brady, 7-0 against Dallas.
7-0 against Dallas. Wow.
7.
What is it with great quarterbacks just beating up on Dallas? Rodgers owns Jerry World. Brady's 7-0 against Dallas. My God.
I mean, I think I'm looking forward to that one. I want the Niners to win badly, but my second interest of the week is I'd love to see
Dallas lose
to Tampa. Yeah, I'd love to see Dallas.
See, the thing is, I actually think Dallas is the only team other than the 49ers capable of taking out Philadelphia. Like, I think if Tampa Bay goes to Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia extracts some revenge from last year and pounds the crap out of them.
It's almost time for me to run inside for the birthday dinner. But man, I'm really happy to be fired.
Dinner too.
Yeah, I'm fired up. But let's run it down. Seahawks Niners, I'm going to say 31-21 49ers, and I don't think it's going to be as close as that number sounds. I'm saying it's like 31-14. Seattle gets a late touchdown in garbage time. 31-21 Niners.
I'll go 34-17 49ers.
Okay. Winner of Chargers Jaguars, I'm going Chargers.
Chargers.
Winner of Dolphins Bills. Bills are a 13.5-point favorite. I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah, if Teddy Bridgewater was playing in this game, I would pick Miami, but I'm going to go
Buffalo. You're going Buffalo. Giants Vikings in Minnesota. Vikings are a 3-point favorite. I'm going New York Giants to get it done on the road at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Giants as well.
Really?
I think they're going to run the ball. Minnesota's defense is horrible. I love the way Daniel Jones has been playing of late. He's still a work in progress in the drop back pass game, but boy, can he run.
Bengals Ravens. Bengals 9.5-point favorites in Cincinnati at Paycor Stadium. I guess I'm going Bengals, but I'll tell you, if the Ravens pulled the upset there by just some really rugged, hot start, run the ball, that would not shock me. If the Bengals, who went to the Super Bowl last year, got ousted in the first round by the Ravens, it wouldn't shock me. I won't bet it, but I would not be shocked by it.
I'm going to actually go back in first on the Giants and take Minnesota. I can't be that bold. I don't have it in me. But I'll say Minnesota. I'll say this. And
you like all the favorites, basically.
And about except this game. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you like all the favorites. You like Niners.
I know. That's
Niners,
why
Chargers,
I said Giants too. That's why I
Buffalo,
was like, okay, I'll say Giants.
Minnesota.
And then you said Giants too.
I
And
like
then I
Giants.
thought about it for a second and I'm like, wait. This is the Giants. Like, let's be honest. This is the Giants. And so in regards to this game, here's the thing. Baltimore, Cincinnati with a healthy Lamar Jackson. I'd pick Baltimore, I think, actually. Baltimore's defense was horrible against Cincinnati just a year ago. They couldn't guard Jamar Chase for jack. Joe Burrow threw for like 900 yards in the 2 games combined. They dominated them. This year, and there's a bunch of people have posted the stats, a bunch of people, really smart people, how well Baltimore's defense has played against this Bengals offense, against Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's two worst games this season by far have come against this Baltimore defense. And it's not only that, since they got Roquan Smith, who they paid a lot of money, which was well-deserved, the Baltimore defense has been really, really good. So I do think it's going to be a closer, more grinded out football game than you would expect when Joe Burrow is playing backup quarterback. But I think ultimately Cincinnati will just get it done. Joe Burrow is just too good. Cincinnati just plays the right way. I just really like them as a football team. I wouldn't be shocked if they're representing the AFC in the Super Bowl when it's all said and done again. Yeah.
It's Anthony Brown, though, at quarterback.
It's not Tyler Huntley?
No. It says
he's been ruled out. Okay, yeah.
It
is. If it is Anthony
Tyler
Brown,
Huntley's got
then
a
all
sore
bets
shoulder.
are off. Bengals are going to blow him out. Anthony Brown, I watched.
He's from Oregon. He's athletic.
Yes, he's athletic.
Used to play at BC, transferred to Oregon.
He hit Jesse Bates in the chest a couple of times with some beautiful throws last week.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the Ravens are 2-3 without Lamar. He has not practiced since December the 4th when he hurt his knee. They're going to lean on Dobbins. They rested him last week. Dobbins was on my fantasy team.
Yeah, but Cincinnati's defense is awesome, man.
I know.
They're really good against the run with DJ Reader. Hendrickson is so underrated. We don't even mention him amongst the underrated players. Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson are good. The Cam Taylor-Britt has played very well as a rookie, really replacing Chidobe Awuzie for them. Cincinnati's defense is real, and then Anarumo is so creative.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Dobbins, though, since he came back from the knee injury in week 14, 397 yards. He's had 13 runs of 10 yards or more. So the Bengals have some issues as well. Alex Kappa, their starting right guard, is going to miss the game. He hurt his ankle last week. And they lost the right tackle, Lael Collins, to a knee injury in the Christmas Eve game against the Patriots. So they got a kind of a retooled right side of their line. That's going to be interesting. I don't know. I would say go with Cincinnati, but I think that might be a stay away game as far as wagering, because Baltimore's got experience, and they're kind of rugged. So that one would kind of concern me. And then, of course, Dallas, Tampa. Dallas is the 2.5 point favorite. So Dallas, I guess Tampa's the one dog you're going to go with, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go Tampa. I really like Tampa in this game. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Tampa, man. I'm rooting for Tom Brady.
You're going Dallas?
No, I'm rooting for Tampa. I like Tampa.
You're rooting for Tampa. Who do you think wins?
Well, I'm picking Tampa. I like Tampa. I may tease it so I get a few more points.
All right, let's do full predictions then right here. Let's go on. Next round. Come on.
Okay. So wait, what does that mean? I haven't done this yet,
so I'll do it with you right here, right now.
Okay, so if the Niners, Chargers, Bills, Giants, Bengals.
Hey, I said Vikings.
Okay. Buccaneers roll on. See if the Vikings roll on, then they play the Eagles, right? No. They play. If the Giants roll on, they play the Eagles.
Yeah.
But if the Vikings win that game, then the Vikings come to the Niners, right? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vikings come to the Niners, and Dallas goes to Philly.
Yeah. No, I would have Tampa going to Philly.
Yeah.
So in the NFC, in that case, I'd pick the Niners to eviscerate Minnesota.
Yeah, and I think
I
Philly
would
beats
pick
Tampa.
Philadelphia to eviscerate Tampa.
Yeah, And in the AFC,
And what about you though? With the Giants, you would have Giants and Tampa moving on. So the Giants going to Philadelphia and Tampa
Philly
coming to
beats
Seattle.
Giants.
Okay, same. Okay, same thing.
Either way, the Giant Viking winner's going down in round 2, I think.
Okay.
And then in the AFC, the next round, it would be the lowest remaining seed would be who?
Chargers, Chiefs and Bills, Bengals.
Yeah, and then that's the one where I think Bills Bengals. I'll go with the Bills, and Chargers Chiefs. I think that's going to be an upset. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I was going to go Cincinnati and the Chargers as well. Just kidding. I can't pick against Mahomes. I'm going to go
Bills. I'm going to go Bills Chargers in the AFC Championship game.
I'm going to go
Niners,
Cincinnati
Eagles
versus Chiefs again
NFC.
in the AFC Championship. Oh man, it can't be a repeat. Okay, I'm still picking it. And Niners Eagles. I will pick the Niners over the Eagles. How about you?
I am too. Niners will be able to run it on the Eagles. I really believe that.
I think Kansas City finally gets over the top and beats Cincinnati for the first time.
Oh, you're picking Chiefs Niners.
Again, yeah.
I'm going Bills Niners.
Okay.
Bills Niners.
See, I like the sound of Bills Niners because that's one I think who Niners might win. Here's the thing about Chiefs Niners. Here's the thing about it, Larry. Here's the thing about it. I would pick the Chiefs to win that game.
I know.
It's
I would
Mahomes,
too. How could
man.
you not? They hung
It's
40
Mahomes.
on the Niners.
I know. And that it just makes me so upset. It just makes me so upset. Anybody else, any other team, I think they got a chance.
I know. Really, really interesting playoffs for sure. The one thing I'm looking for in this game between the Niners and the Seahawks is I'm looking for the 49ers to be a little bit more, even though Seattle can't stop the run, even though the Niners have a bevy of runners, I think Kyle Shanahan is going to throw the ball more in this game than we think. If I had to say one thing to kind of look for Kyle Shanahan to throw the ball more in this game, even though all signs indicate it should be a run dominant game plan. I think he believes in Brock Purdy. I think he's going to show everybody he believes in Brock Purdy. And all this talk of Purdy's a game manager and Purdy's a this and that. I don't even know what a game manager is. But he's not a game manager. He takes shots down the field. But I think they're going to throw it. I think they're going to throw the ball on Seattle. I think they're going to beat him. I think they're going to beat him. I think they're going to cover. I like the Niners to win and cover.
Yeah, I like that as well. I don't know if there's going to be a concerted effort to throw the football. I think they're just going to be balanced. We've seen that when they're aggressive with Purdy and they just call their offense and they throw the ball on first down and they just call it very normally, the offense is pretty much unstoppable. We've seen when Shanahan tries to, just run the ball and protect Purdy a little bit, like in the Washington game, it suffocates their offense a little bit. Just let it be loose, and I think they'll just call whatever play is really necessary to beat the defense on that down. I don't know if there's going to be an extra effort to throw the football. I expect Purdy to throw it, 20 to 25 times, which should be good enough. And I expect him to complete probably 15 to 18 throws, maybe 150 to 250 yards and a couple touchdowns.
I like it. Gold-blooded says X factor this time is McCaffrey. Niners will beat Kansas City if they play them. I bet that's exactly who they want to play in the Super Bowl. That question I will not be asking in the locker room anytime soon. Hey, who do you guys want to play in the Super Bowl? Maybe it's like there's never going to be a good time for that.
I just feel like you can say that's the X factor. First of all, playing the Chiefs, it's not when you go up against the defense, the pressure that quarterback and that offense puts on you is a different kind of pressure. I think, Larry, I'm going to be honest. I know I'm very young. I would love to hear your statement on this. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen. He is he is just so good. He's the best quarterback I have ever seen, Larry. He's so good from the pocket. He's so good outside of structure. He's so physically gifted. He started his career better than any quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, his first year of starting is a historically great season with 5,000 yards, 50 touchdown. they're just such a scary team because he is such a good quarterback.
Here's the ultimate question. Does Mahomes make Andy Reid, or does Andy Reid make Mahomes?
They make each other.
That's the easy way out.
But I would say
it's more Andy Reid than Mahomes. I love Mahomes.
I would say it's more Mahomes.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I think Reid's genius. I think
he's
just absolutely genius.
I agree. I think
he
Mahomes
schemes guys open.
I think Mahomes is one of one, Larry. I think he's one of one.
One of one? What about Josh Allen?
I mean, the thing with Josh Allen is that he's good. Mahomes is the only quarterback that I've seen that you can consistently drop back, like with no help, no run game, nothing. You just drop him back 45, 50 times, and your offense doesn't lose that much efficiency, and he just doesn't lose efficiency. He just keeps going. Like, he can win games completely and then the clutch fact, it just feels like he never plays poorly, doesn't it?
I know. We'll finish with this one. The understatement of all time, Chris Jones gives the 49ers problems.
Yeah,
you think?
He's arguably the best defensive tackle in the NFL.
I guess the Niners, he's like Mean Joe Green and Aaron Donald and Reggie White all rolled into one. I don't know that I've ever seen a more dominant interior force than Chris Jones every time he plays the 49ers.
He is really powerful. He is
Crazy.
So powerful. He's
Crazy.
So massive. He's a mammoth. He's a mammoth human being.
All right, Vish, time for me to run inside to go eat dinner with the fam.
Happy birthday, Larry.
Hey, man, always good rapping with you. We'll do it again. Maybe next week, huh? Going into the next round if the Niners win.
Next week, we got to run it back. We got to talk about, hopefully we get a nice 34-17 so I can be right for once. I'm a little tired of you stealing all my thunder over here because you just aren't missing this year. But happy birthday to you, Larry. As always, thank you for having me. I love coming on, and I will see you next week for sure.
Vish, tell people where they can find your channel. Vish has got his own channel. He's got over 7,000 subs, and it's growing fast. Tell people right now who are watching this where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Vish Kumaran. Same place. You can find me there on Twitter. You can find me there on YouTube. I try and stream as much as I can. It's always great when I can stream with guests like Larry Kruger. But
dude, you're a superstar, man. You're an absolute superstar.
Hey, I really appreciate that. But Larry, happy birthday to you. Enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner in January. And I'll see you.
There you go. The great Vish Kumaran. Let's give Vish a hand there. Vish is awesome. And go follow his channel. He is awesome. Let's hit the comments. Vish, go invest in a ring light. What does that mean? Oh, I think Vish was at his parents' place today. Jaime Padilla, happy birthday, Larry. Thank you, Jaime. Appreciate that. Bay Area Baller 18, happy birthday, Larry. Thank you, Bay Area Baller. The old school king. I miss hearing Larry Kruger and Gary Rednish. This one, Waylon Crawford. I used to watch KMBR just for you. I'm glad you got your own thing going on now. Well, we are glad we are doing our own thing as well. So, hey, we appreciate everybody. Let's get a couple words from our sponsors. We do have a few sponsors on this show, and we'll tell you about that right here.
Larry Kruger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, Telmetrix.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the crew. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coach Emilio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com, or at his number, 925-628 628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make it a And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, you know, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never going to deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it. Guaranteed.
All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat today. I'd like to thank Vish, all the sponsors, all the guys. Sydney Johnson has this super chat. Says Niners versus the Bengals. Joe Montana vibes. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. I would love to see the Niners in the Super Bowl. Could you imagine Brock Purdy 5 years after he was honored on that field as a high school kid, as like the best high school quarterback in the state of Arizona, returns to play, to start the Super Bowl as a rookie, as Mr. Irrelevant? I mean, it would be an incredible story. It's already an incredible story. And I think there's a good chance we see it. We'll see. We will see. We will see. Everybody on the chat saying happy birthday. Thank you very much. Jaguayo, love you, brother. Thank you very much. MF says, hey, Pasquale. There you go. I'm looking, I've contacted Dave Softy Mahler, and he may contact me back. And we're trying to get something going for later on tonight. So we may be back with another live stream later on tonight with Dave Softy Mahler. Also, I did an incredible interview today, I thought, with Robbie Gold. I'm going to put that out on Twitter, and we may use that, put that in one of the live streams. I'm going to be filling in a couple days next week on 95.7 The Game, so keep listening to those guys over there. I'll be with Lo Neal on Saturday from 11 to 1:15, I believe, or 1:30-ish, right around game time, leading up to the game. So check us out, Niner pregame. We'll play some of the best interviews that I got from the locker room this week. Spent the last 3 days in Santa Clara, got a lot of great interviews. Dre Greenlaw, Drake Jackson. Today with Robbie Gold, he was phenomenal, really, really good. So hope you enjoy that stuff. And we're putting it out on the YouTube channel. We've got a ton of subscribers already on the YouTube channel. We've crested 7,000 or 10,000, I should say. And now we are getting closer to 11,000. We give you the exact update here on the total subscribers to the show. But I mean, I can't even tell you how appreciative I am for all the people who are enjoying this content. And MF says the Greenlaw interview was great. Calba says I'll be listening. Bomber T says all the interviews were great. So yeah, we're almost at 10,500. We just got 10,000. We're now at 10,429 total subscribers. So if you're one of the 250 plus people still in the chat right now, and you haven't subscribed, hit like. That helps the algorithm, but definitely hit subscribe, and you'll be alerted every single time we're doing a show. And if you want our exclusive content, we do provide some exclusive content. Join our Krueg Show Club, and you can get some of that stuff as well. So Archer Gazarian says, Larry, where do you think the 49ers need to focus their draft this offseason? Wow. A lot of time to get into that. But I will say defensive backfield. You know, they need another number one corner. They need another safety who can really cover. And they probably could use a real tough road grader on the right side of their offensive line if they lose McGlinchey to free agency. I would say a big, strong right guard that will allow Spencer Burford to play right tackle, or keep Burford at right guard and go get yourself a big physical right tackle. But right tackle and corner are the two areas I think that I would look at in the draft. They're pretty stacked everywhere else, to be honest. I mean, there's all the other one is I love two players from Notre Dame in this draft. I love Isaiah Foskey, defensive end, Notre Dame. Check him out. Bay Area kid, monster pass rusher. Love Foskey. Going to be a late first-round pick. And I love Michael Mayer. I see Gronk. I see Kittle. I see Kelsey. I see a superstar. I see a guy who's going to go probably in the 20s. And if I'm the Niners, if Brock carries you far in the playoffs, maybe you move Trey Lance and go for a guy like Michael Mayer. There you go. I said it. All right. Hope everybody's having a great night. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. And until maybe tomorrow, or if Dave calls me back, maybe later on tonight, we'll stream more straight ahead. Lots of good content straight ahead, always on The Krueg Show.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah.